What's going on, everybody? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're talking about Lehi, Utah. We're going to go on a deep dive here. We're going to talk about schools. We're going to talk about houses. We're going to talk about where to live in this area, pros and cons, who lives here, why they live here. We're going to talk about everything you need to know about Lehi. Now, we're just going to be looking at a map on my screen here. So we're going to show some overlays of the area. We're going to show you what it looks like out on the streets, what the houses look like, what type of home you can get, and just try to give you that overall feel while also giving you a better understanding of the particular area. We're going to jump in my screen here in just a minute, but before we do that, as always, guys, if you're looking at making a move here or you already live here in our own backyard, please call, text, or email me anytime. I love hearing from you guys. I want to help you buy or sell real estate. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, I am your guy. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. My information is here on the screen. Call, text, or email me anytime, and I cannot wait to hear from you. With that said, let's jump into my screen here and take a look at what we've got. So taking a look at Lehi, this is a little bit sporadic, right? If I type in Lehi, Utah, this kind of gives me the boundaries of this particular area, and it frankly looks like a mess. I'm not sure why there's all these little sections or neighborhoods that are not considered Lehi, because in fact, they generally are. So pretty much just ignore everything inside of the, general overall outer back outline. Even going all the way down here towards the lake, everything in here should be considered Lehi. It might be considered part of Saratoga Springs, but in my opinion, and if you told me, hey, I live down here, I'd probably be like, yeah, you live in Lehi, right? So that does kind of change if you come over here, but definitely here on the north end of Utah Lake, I would still consider that Lehi. We're going to talk about a couple different points here. Then we'll come in and we'll talk about house prices. We'll talk about where to find housing and what type of options you're going to find here in this area. So I want to start right here. This is going to be Thanksgiving Point. Now there's a golf club right here. There's also going to be a museum of natural curiosity, which is here. They've got a movie theater. They've got a ton of stuff. They've got like a flower garden as well. Thanksgiving Point is more than just like a golf course. There's a whole lot going on there. There's a lot of entertainment. It's a great place to take your kids and just kind of explore for the day. So Thanksgiving Point kind of sits right here in this area, but you also have, if we zoom in a little bit here, you can see all of these commercial office buildings, right? This is the main part of the tech corridor. The tech corridor is going to run from basically Draper, just a little bit further north, all the way down into Provo. There's tech companies all along the freeway here. Most of them are going to be situated right here along this yellow road, I-15, all the way down into Orem and Provo. So a big portion of those are going to be right here. You've got Adobe, who has a headquarters here. I think Micron has one. You've got Texas Instruments. They've got a whole bunch of different big companies that have stores and locations, or rather offices here in this particular area. So Lehi is a very big tech hub. Most of the people who work in this area and live nearby are going to be tech workers or supplementary workers for those particular industries. You can just see, if we zoom in here a little bit, you can see all of these different office buildings. Every single one of these squares is an office building. You can see the massive parking lots. It almost seems like they would, could do a better, have a better use of land if they would actually just build, maybe a parking structure. They could have, put in 2 or 3 more office buildings, but what do I know? Anyway, you've got all these different office buildings right here. They go along the east side, or this northeast side of town, the freeway as well. And it just continues all the way down here. There's not quite as much as we go a little bit further south. You come down this way, there's not quite as much, but there is still some different options right here. This is going to be Lehi Main Street, which is going to be another major shopping area. So you kind of have Thanksgiving Point as one of your shopping areas. We'll go back and take a look at that here in just a sec. And then you've got Lehi Main Street as another one. This is right here by Lehi High School. But this is where you're gonna have Walmart, you've got Home Depot, you've got a bunch of fast food restaurants, a couple mom and pop places, you've got Lowe's, you've got Costco right over here. This is gonna be a very popular area. If you're in this spot, this is going to be an area that you probably frequent, somewhat often, probably, a couple times a month at least. If we come back up here, you're going to have Traverse Mountain. So you also have the outlets right here. It doesn't quite look like it, but it is actually a lot bigger than what it looks like on the map here. This is actually a very large shopping center. This is an old picture too, so it's even more built out than this as it is right now. But this is the outlets at Traverse Mountain. Again, another shopping area that you can go. It's very popular. There's pretty much every single fast food option that you want here. You've got a couple restaurants. You've got a couple breweries going in there. You've got a couple of great places to explore. You also have the outlets, which means you're going to have tons of shopping. You've got just a great overall place to kind of go and hang out. It does get a little bit busy, but it is going to be, you know, one of your main areas, especially here on the north part of town. This is where most people are going to do, you know, their entertainment, their shopping, whatever, right here between the outlets as well as Thanksgiving Point. I want to talk about one of these housing developments up here because this is a very popular spot right now. Toll Brothers and a couple of other builders are building in this area. This is going to be Canyon Point at Traverse Mountain. This is a huge development that they put right up here into the hillside. This is going to be, in my opinion, a very good area to live. You can get some amazing views here. Most of the view lots are gone. Again, this is an older picture. Most of the homes all the way up here. Fieldstone's building up further up here, but most of the lots here are going to, the view lots are going to be taken at this point, but you can still get a really nice home in this area for a pretty decent price. You're probably looking somewhere between 1 million to 1.3. I see that's decent, right? Of course, it's relative to what you get for the price, for the location, for everything that comes with it. I think it's a great option and something you should definitely consider if you're looking in that price range. If you're looking a little bit lower than that, maybe let's say you're somewhere between like 500,000 and $1 million. Then this could be a great area for you right here. You've got anything around Traverse Mountain, the elementary school could be a good option. You're gonna have homes that are 500, 600, 700, 8, maybe even 900,000 in this particular area. So no matter what you're looking for, you should be able to find something here. If you're looking for something even higher, you wanna be a little bit closer to more of that luxury feel, then this could be a great option for you. You've got Lakeview Estates right over here. Lakeview Estates is going to be exactly what it is, right? You've got views of Utah Lake looking down off the south here. This is, it's a little bit hard to tell from this map, but this does sit up on the hillside. So you do have, you know, you're kind of on the bench of the mountain here and you're looking down south into Utah Lake. If we kind of zoom out here, this will show you what this looks like. So you're kind of sitting here on this mountain, you're looking out over the city. You can see the lake, you can see the mountains on both sides. You've got mountains over here as well as here on the east side too. So that's a pretty cool area, but you are going to pay a premium for that. Lakeview Estates, honestly, you're looking at like 1.8 to 2 million as kind of a starting point for that particular area. Well worth it, but yes, it is going to be a little bit higher price. Going beyond that, I should mention that you do have everything within Lehi is going to be a part of Alpine School District. Alpine School District is one of the best in the state. In fact, I believe it's actually ranked number 5 in the state. And for the Salt Lake City metro area, it's actually ranked number 1. So it's one of the biggest and best school districts right now. I think there's over like 60,000 students in the entire school district. So that's something to consider. It is very big. They are talking about splitting it. I do think that will probably happen here in the next maybe year or two, maybe even sooner. But it is going to see some changes, but it is still a very highly ranked area. The reason for this is because you've got higher end homes. It's a very nice area. People make a lot of money, which means they pay more of those taxes into the schools, and the schools can therefore afford better teachers who, you know, demand a higher pay. So it's kind of this cyclical thing where, you know, you get a nicer area, you get more taxes being paid, and you get more money being spent on teachers, which is going to benefit the schools in this area. So everywhere in here, pretty much the schools are top notch. You're going to find great schools, whether you're looking at Skyridge or whatever, you know, Lehi High School, whatever you're looking at, you're going to have some great options out there. Skyridge is probably the most popular one that people are looking for. So that might be a starting point for you. Now let's talk a little bit more broadly about where people are moving to, what they're looking for, and just kind of some general price ranges and demographics, or, you know, some information about some houses in this particular area. I want to zoom in here. We're going to actually jump over to this map view because I think this will give us a little bit better of a sense. I'm going to get rid of that. So pretty much everything around this Skyridge High School, with the exception of what we just talked about up here on the hill, a lot of the houses right in here in this particular area will have been built between, you know, 1995-ish maybe. Of course, there's some that are older than that, but, you know, let's say generally like 1995 all the way up to about 2015, even 2020. That's going to be the majority of the homes. Now, you can find some that are older or brand new homes still being built, but for the most part, this is kind of considered somewhat of the older part of town. It's a little bit more established. You get newer, you get more mature neighborhoods. You're going to get areas that have bigger trees, typically a little bit bigger lots as well. You're going to notice that if you want a house that has a backyard and has some area to spread out and has, you know, room to play, something like that is going to be typically found in this particular area. You can find it outside of here, you know, on the south end of I-15. I-15 kind of splits the city in two a little bit. It's very nice on both sides of it, but typically you'll find those bigger lots over here on the east side. But over here on the south side, you're going to find actually kind of smaller homes and smaller lots in this particular area. Looking at this area, you are getting closer to the lake, so this is going to be more of a flat area right here. You can't quite tell again from the map, but up here you're kind of on a hill. You're a little bit higher elevated, and then as you drive down further south, you kind of come down, and then you can see where the Jordan River actually connects to Utah Lake, right? So Jordan River is actually right here, kind of winds actually north in this particular area. So all of this spot, here in Lehi, you've got some developments that are right here down next to the lake. There's going to be some pros and cons to that particular setup, but there's still a lot of opportunity for houses to be built in this particular area. They've kind of stayed away from building here historically just because it's close to the lake. You can't really do basements in this area, which a lot of people in Utah want, but that's starting to change, right? People are getting over that, and they're starting to come down to these areas and start building out these neighborhoods where you can get these homes. There's still a lot of farmland here that's being converted over into houses. So this area has still got a long ways to go. As far as growth is concerned, you can see the map right here. This is a massive home development right here that's been converted from the farmland or the park or whatever into actual housing. I should also mention that if we come back up here, there's actually a new Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital that has just been built right here. This is a massive hospital campus. This is going to be one of your main hospitals here in this area, and it's kind of an anchor for this particular spot. There's going to be some housing developments around it. This is mostly condos and townhomes. There are a couple single family homes in here, but this is kind of where you get more of your entry level basic stuff. You're looking probably around like 400, 500,000 for something in this area, maybe even a little bit cheaper or a little bit more expensive, but let's say like 375 up to about 550 in this particular area. Now, just a quick reminder, guys, if you're looking at making a move here, whether you already live here or you're moving to Utah from out of state, please reach out to me. I've had hundreds, actually over 1,000 people now reach out to me from videos just like this, and I absolutely love it when you guys do so. My information is here on the screen. Call, text, or email me anytime. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice when it comes to making a move here. Whether you're looking to buy or sell real estate, I want to be the person that gets to help you through that process. So please reach out to me. Like I said, over 1,000 people now who've reached out over just the last couple of years, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. The next thing I want to cover here on the video is going to be a little bit about traffic and a little bit about how people get around in this particular area. Let's jump over here to this particular map because this shows the roads a little bit better. You've got I-15 that comes down this way. You're going to have Traverse Parkway that runs across right here. This is 92. And then you've got 2100 North, which comes over this way and actually goes up into the hillside. This is, again, hard to see on the map, but this is actually up on the hills, just a little bit above Harvest Hills. So everything right here is pretty much flat, and then it kind of goes up into the hillside right here. You've got 2100 North that comes across, very, very busy street. In fact, they've kind of actually underplanned this particular area. There's a lot of traffic, especially if you're going through there in rush hour. You're going to be sitting in some traffic. Everywhere right here, in 2100 North or along 68, which is Redwood Road, there's going to be a lot of traffic here on this west side of town. This is going into Saratoga Springs, which is another area that we're going to talk about with pros and cons, in future videos. You've got 2100 North that kind of comes across right here. You've got Main Street that comes across right here. This is going to be just like a 1 or 2 lane road depending on where you're at. And then you do have this 145 right here, Pioneer Crossing, that cuts across kind of further south. So there's a couple roads that go east and west in this area. They should have honestly probably just put an offshoot of I-15, turned this into a full freeway that kind of looped over this way west and then down into Saratoga Springs. They should have made this its own freeway. Honestly, they kind of underplanned, and now it's frankly too late to try and make these changes. I think this is going to be a huge problem actually going into the future. So it's something worth considering. If you're making a commute here in this area, you're going to want to consider that the commute time is going to be a little bit elevated compared to some other parts of Utah. So with all that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, reach out to me if I can help you in any way. This is the end of the video. I want to thank you for being a viewer. We'll catch you guys in the next one.